Gonna go ahead and make sure that we are. Says that we are. Let me make sure live notifications have gone out. There we go. We're showing up. Make sure I'm getting audio. Hopefully, okay. Sorry, there might be a little bit of reverb for setting that up. Okay, so last time I did this, I was unbelievably not sober. So I'm going to go back through this list. I'll sing my praises for the shows one more time. Since I deleted the last stream, I think it deserved it. And then I'll go ahead and finish this bad boy out. So let's just go through it for right now. And then we'll just jump back into it. So S tier. I absolutely agree with all of this so far. BNA, amazing show. Harukana Receive is a good show. Absolutely deserves S tier. And My First Girlfriend is a Gal, main character, also S tier. Super awesome. All right, let's go through A tier. Red Blood Cell, absolutely A tier. Also qualifies for Must Protect category. This is our main character from Hanebado, the badminton anime, which is a good show. Cells at Work, amazing show. I think it's on Netflix. I know that. I think everybody should watch that one. That's a nice little cute anime for people who enjoy biology or science, any of that. It's great. It's awesome. It's a pretty good entry point anime for people. It's good. Hanebado, I know I sung the praises of the mocap style animation. It looks gorgeous. Should we be in A tier? I think that's very generous for our main character in Hanebado, especially with seeing who's down in B tier. I don't see our Hanebado main character beating out our B tiers. And it's tough to get past some of the C tiers. I think Hanebado is going to fall from graces and get slammed into D tier, unfortunately. Next, Onodera from Nisakoi. I am absolutely team Onodera, and she deserves A tier. Yaomomo and Uraraka are A tier. And yes, they deserve to be there, for sure. I am so bad at the names. So I thank goodness I wrote all of the names down. Well, typed them in. Ayaka from How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift? Super chill. How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift is a great comedy show, and it's actually good at getting you motivated to work out. So for those of you with the New Year's resolutions, check it out. It's actually pretty fun. Next, we have three of the main girls. The third one didn't load in correctly, but I was scared to reload the page. Sayaka didn't load in, but Nozomi and Alba did. I was scared to reload the page, so I didn't lose all of my progress. Are they all A tier? I think Alba definitely gets A tier. God, I'm so bad at names. Sayaka and Nozomi. Do they stay in A tier? Also, all of these characters are from Keijo, which is something I don't recommend watching until you've gotten into anime a little bit. You kind of get what's going on. That being said, once you get to it, one of the best sports animes that I've watched. Does Nozomi and Sayaka get A tier? Once again, I'm looking at some of the characters down in B tier, and I feel like my love for the show is really bleeding through, and I'm not sure. I think Nozomi will stick in A tier. Yep, I think Sayaka stays in A tier, even though you can't see her. Sayaka stays. I like her character arc. But the character she becomes by the end of the show, she stays. Ein from Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is one of the shows that everybody recommends that you start with. I'm not sure that I would necessarily start new anime fans off with Cowboy Bebop. It's a fantastic show. I love it. It's super popular with Western audiences, which is why people say, hey, check this out. I think you have to be into kind of that action genre. I think if you throw somebody at a Cowboy Bebop when Cells at Work is more their style and their speed, if you throw them into Cowboy Bebop, it's probably not going to end up well. That being said, pretty sure it's a 10 out of 10 on my anime list. So, Ein stays. Darkness and Megumin, both A tier. They stay, for sure. Love Konosuba. It's not, I wouldn't sing the praises of many Konosuba fans. They absolutely love Konosuba. It's a great show, and it's actually funny. I think I gave it an 8 on my anime list. So, I don't know where to go from there. So we'll continue. B tier. 02. Yeah. Her, if you are not the main character, like I said, I know I said this because this was before I got plastered last time. If your name is not Hiro, 02 is going to be a nightmare. So, B tier. Main girl from Promare. I know I already sung the praises of Promare. So, yeah, B tier. B tier it is. Chitoge and Sugumi from Nisekoi. I think they deserve B tier. I think so. They're both good characters. Especially Chitoge. Her character arc is fantastic. So she sticks B tier. I believe her name's Nia from Pokemon. Rhea. I think it's Rhea from Power of Us, the Pokemon movie. Does she stay B tier? If anything, I would consider moving her up to A tier. That's tough. Seeing the Keijo girls up here in A tier is my main convincing point here. Yeah, I think Rhea gets moved up. Rhea gets moved up to the A tier. We have our first move upwards. That's for sure. I think Froppy, Mina, and boy am I bad at the names. I had a stroke. Ayame. Yes? Ayame. Ayame, Mina, and Froppy all stay here. I think they're all bros. They're bro dudes. they would be really good friends. So I think they stick B tier. Um, Hibiki from How Heavy, another How Heavy character. Um, I think she also sticks with the other three. She would definitely be an awesome friend. Shimonetta is a show that I don't think a lot of people watch or have watched. The dub is fantastic. A lot of animes with kind of this out there comedy style, like Shimonetta and How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift, are fantastic in dub because when I think it was because the original licensees or licensors kind of let the dub team kind of rewrite things so that it made a little more sense for an English audience, and the jokes come across perfect, and it works in both languages because I've watched both series in both languages, and the jokes come across exactly the same with kind of the same punchline, but when you put it in the dub, just the little things make a huge difference, and it's great. So Shimonetta is awesome. So is How Heavy. Both shows that you kind of need to get into anime a little bit and then jump into them, so that you kind of understand what's going on. Let's move on. Panty and Stocking. Yeah, B tier. They would also. Ooh, do I put them in Hurt Me category? I think they go to Hurt Me. They're definitely Hurt Me category. So that's another. I wouldn't say that's a move down. I'd say that's a category change. You have. Oh, I'm so bad with these names. It's awful. Ronko from My First Girlfriend. She's definitely a bro dude. She fits in with the rest of the girls here. Same with Chica. I think this is the most Chica gets hyped so much in the anime community, and she deserves it for sure. But I think for me personally, I think she sticks B tier. I haven't watched past season 1 of Kaguya-sama. I'm really excited to watch past that. I typically don't watch week to week because it makes me feel like storylines move slower. I typically enjoy a series a lot more when I can knock down 3 or 4 episodes at a time and really advance a story each time I watch. Otherwise, I feel like the story is taking too small of steps. Even if it's a super quick 12-episode deal, that's just personal preference. That's just me being weird. Okay, on to C tier. Yuki from Star Blazers. I think C tier, based on what it looks like here, it looks like C tier is kind of your generic characters plus one. They have that little extra that I don't consider them very, very generic, or they don't have any bad traits necessarily, is what it looks like here. Yuki from Star Blazers. It's just been so long since I watched Star Blazers. It's a good show, fantastic. It's a remake of an old 80s show, and the Yamato series the Space Battleship Yamato series has so much going on. But I've only watched Star Blazers, which I think is fine. Yeah, I think Yuki sticks in C tier. Diana from Little Witch Academia. I know I sung the praises of Little Witch Academia before. I think this is one of those shows. It's a Studio Trigger production, which is fantastic. It is no secret I am a Trigger fanboy. I think Little Witch Academia is one of those shows where if you showed it to somebody who didn't know what anime was, or even if they knew what anime was, and you just said, here's Little Witch Academia, they would just think it's any animated series. I think this Little Witch Academia transcends the stigma that a lot of people have for, oh, it's anime, I'm not going to touch it type deal. If you just showed them Little Witch Academia, dub, not sub, because if it's subbed, then they're obviously going to find out. The dub is fantastic, by the way. Just throw on Little Witch Academia, and they'll be like, oh, what's this show? And if you don't tell them it's an anime, there's no way they'd know. But if once you say this is an anime, then all of the stuff starts coming together. You can see, trigger hard lines everywhere. The action sequences have trigger written all over it. It's fantastic. That being said, Diana stays in C tier. I don't think she moves up to B tier. Her character arc would probably get her to like C.5 by the end of the show. We have Rika from Gridman. Gridman was weird because I'm not a chiseled anime vet for sure. I'm more of a newbie. I believe I have certainly passed the point of anime fan where everything is shiny and new. In that respects, I'd say I'm anime vet status, but I haven't gotten to the point where it's like Ultraman and sorry, I had to clear my screen. Like Ultraman and the Mecha series really give me nostalgia. I'm too new for that. So Gridman was kind of just for me. I want to go back and watch it eventually, sometime, because I feel like the environment in which I watched it in was probably not great. I feel like I watched it on my phone at some point, which is not always the best to watch. It's a way to watch, but I feel like it deserves another shot. And I don't remember a whole lot from Rika being, other than she is the deity of the anime thighs religion, so C tier. Gina from How Heavy, again. She's a great character and super fun, but for this tier list, she stays in a C. I forget the character name. Arisa from Akiba Strip. Akiba Strip was a show that I didn't know was a game first. I just watched the show, and it's a really good show, comedy action series, and it reminds me of a Monster of the Week style show, but there's an overarching story to it. So if somebody wanted to watch it, they could definitely just jump into any episode and enjoy it, but there's definitely a storyline behind it. I think it's same with Panty and Stocking. I think that's what's cool that anime does, is that you can throw a lot of shows, you can throw a lot of episodes in there that are kind of Monster of the Week, but you'll miss out on the overarching story, but that's kind of like the extra credit bit. For me, I think the overarching story plus the Monster of the Week is important. But for a more casual viewer or somebody who's just getting into it, just throw on an episode randomly in the middle and see if you like it. It would work. I did like Akiba Strip, is really all I was trying to get at. Two of the Kisnaiver girls are next, and I forgot both of their names because it's been a while. Chidori and Noriko. Kisnaiver is another Trigger production, but it's more of the drama side of things. It is more of a drama show, which is not really my style, but you take any like TV show synopsis and you told it to me just verbatim, like for Kisnaiver, if you just told me a synopsis for the show, I'd be like, no. But if you told me it's an anime, it's like, all right, I'll try it out. Like some of the shows that I watch in anime that I choose to watch and that I actually enjoy, the synopsis of those shows presented to me plainly, or I just wouldn't watch these shows. But for some reason, the anime medium makes me want to watch these shows, and it gets me super engaged in these shows. And I don't think that's just the, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed newbie to the anime game. I've been around for 5 years. I watched a lot of the Fox Kids shows, which I didn't know were anime, and then, early on in college, I was reintroduced back into the kind of nerd culture that I kind of put off for middle school and high school, so I could be the cool kid. I got reintroduced into all that stuff, and that's when I realized, the things that I really enjoyed when I was younger was actually an anime. So I started seeing what this whole anime thing was about, and I've been stuck ever since. And I have definitely gotten past the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed stage of being an anime fan. But I don't really know where that puts me. All I know is that I'm not a newbie, so you don't have to worry about that. I don't know why I'm trying to prove my worth. Anyways, damn it. Chidori and Noriko. I think they stick in C tier. They're both cool characters. It's been a long time since I've watched Kiss Naiver. I don't think they're bad characters, and they're certainly not like super generic. They have their positives. From what I remember, Chidori is the childhood best friend, and she's a great character. And then you have the unsung hero here of the series, and I think she has a positive, but it's kind of the side tier. Eagle from Girly Air Force. This was a show that kind of landed in the category. But I was specifically looking for an airplane anime, and holy shit was I surprised when I found that there was. Which is why I watched the whole Girly Air Force. I think if there was any show that has the best argument for the manga is going to be better than the anime, I would think Girly Air Force is top 3. I have not read any manga, but based on what the research that I did for Girly Air Force after I watched it, is that was the anime was a quick adaptation of the manga that goes much farther, because the ending of Girly Air Force left me wanting more, and the manga gives it to you. So I think this is a very niche anime. That being said, it was good. I think it's not memorable, but it's good. If that's exactly what you're looking for, check it out. That being said, Eagle, yeah, C tier. She's kind of the bright-eyed and bushy-tailed that I was talking about, and she just loves flying, and it's great. Kaguya-sama is C tier. She's a main character, and the whole love is war thing is a cute little plot device, and I love it. Kaguya-sama as a character, for me, is C tier. She's not totally blank slate. She doesn't have negatives, I don't think. But yeah. Down to D tier. I think we moved one B tier and C tier stayed the same. I don't see a whole lot changing, but we're gonna keep going. Ichigo in D tier. Yeah, I think she stays in D tier. Just because of how emotionally charged Darling in the Franxx is as a series. I know I talked a lot about Darling in the Franxx the last time I did this, because I think it was towards the beginning. Um, yeah, just how emotionally charged Darling in the Franxx is. I think that puts Ichigo and her actions down to D tier. We moved Hanebado down here. Magical Senpai. I don't know why she's down here in D tier. Because I've watched Magical Senpai somewhat recently. And I liked the show. I think I talked way too much about it the last time. But it was like one of those like quick little snippet shows that has a reduced runtime, but it's still like 12 episodes that kind of has a story to it. But it's more of an anecdotal show, comedy show. Oh, why was I so mean to Magical Senpai? I think she deserves to go upwards. But how far? Oh, man. I want to put her in C tier. I feel like she would be with the Diana thing where she's like C.5. But I don't think she quite qualifies for B tier. I think the bar between C tier and B tier is a little big. So I think she'll at least move up to C tier. That's for sure. Next up, Akane from Psycho Pass. In D tier, yeah, probably, just because of the things that go on in Psycho Pass for her. As a wifey, I think she's D tier, but that has nothing to do with the character. Akane as a character is fucking tastic. Psycho Pass as a series is so good. Season 1 especially is amazing. They also do a very good job rolling it into Season 2. I think after Season 1 and 2, I think I watched past Season 2 in a bad environment, so I kind of fell off on it. So I need to go back and kind of refresh myself with the arc through Season 1 and 2, and then continue, because I know there's movies. There's a Season 3 on Amazon, I believe. But Psycho Pass 1 and 2 is fantastic as a show. I absolutely recommend it to anyone who is a big fan of the crime drama series. Or even an action series. Anybody who liked Kiss Naiver would also like Psycho Pass. What's the other one that I thought was kind of like Psycho Pass? I can't name it off the top of my head. But it is like it's if you liked Cowboy Bebop, also Psycho Pass is like a loose fit into that. But Akane definitely sticks a D tier for this list. And Asuna, so from Sword Art, specifically Season 1. I have only watched Season 1 of Sword Art. And I was perfectly fine with it. The second arc was a little weird. And it felt a little drug out. And it felt like they kind of did 12 episodes for the first season. And then through the middle of it, somebody said, you got to keep going. So, I don't have a lot. The whole Sword Art Online thing, whether people hate it or the vocal minority who love it and defend it, I can't really speak to that because I only watched Season 1 and I was perfectly okay with that. So, and Asuna as a character, She's a great character if Sword Art is the only show that you've watched. But putting Asuna up against every other person on this list, I think she rolls into D tier. Fu from Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo is an amazing show. If you like Cowboy Bebop, I believe it's the same people who work on Cowboy Bebop worked on Samurai Champloo. I know the music producer is the exact same, which is awesome. Samurai Champloo is definitely a recommended show. maybe not something to get into immediately, but I think it definitely rides that edge. It's a great show. That being said, Fu as a character is kind of more of a comedic relief to kind of break the tension in between things. She has her whole character arc, which she's kind of the driving force behind the story. Not to give anything away, she kind of drives the story through. But I think for this list, she sticks in D tier. I'm so bad at names. Akemi, that's what I thought. From How Heavy. Yeah, I think she stays D tier for her character. She's a great little character, and it's great, but I think for this list, she's D tier. Emmy from Devil is a Part-Timer. Devil is a Part-Timer is a great show. It's a reverse isekai. So this show kind of came out too early because isekai is kind of like isekai is to anime as reaction videos are to YouTube. They can be done well, but it's very often that they're not. It's very few and far between that reaction videos are done well, and I think that's kind of how isekai works in anime. It's gonna get all the hype. Every isekai is gonna get all the hypes, and yeah, I think that's my one anime hipster take, is that isekai is kind of whatever for me. And Devil is a Part-Timer being a reverse isekai is fantastic. It's like a comedy action series again. And it's another one of those series, kind of like Akiba Strip, where you kind of have to get into anime a little bit. You got to understand the references and kind of get through what's going on, and it's great. It's a great show. That being said, I think Emmy from Devil's a Part-Timer suffers the same fate as Fu from Samurai Champloo. As good as their shows are, and the fact that they drive the plot, I think for this list they roll in D tier. Aqua from Konosuba. Yeah. I think D tier is a little harsh, but I also feel like I'm letting my my love for Konosuba kind of push into whether Aqua as a character should be higher than a D tier. She has redeeming qualities, for sure. But usually, yeah, I think D tier is where she's going to end up. Kind of looking at the characters who made it up to C tier, I think Aqua stays in D tier. Hackadol number 1 is really just just a love letter for Trigger. Shows how much I love Trigger. Hackadol number 1 is really just a computer program, so D tier. But she goes hammer in the opening song for Hackadolls, which is hilarious. I love it. Down to F tier. Just scanning through them super quick. The F tier deserves F tier for sure. The must protect category. I think a lot of these characters qualify for high tiers, for sure. They all definitely qualify for the must protect. That being said, I think some of them deserve higher praises, such as Senko. Senko deserves absolutely to be an S tier. This is coveted territory up here, and Senko absolutely belongs there. The Helpful Fox Senko-san as a show will literally cure you of any bad thoughts that you have. It's such a good show, and it's another one of those shows where it's like, if you tried to explain what the show was about to somebody, they would immediately be like, why the hell are you watching that? Like, what? That doesn't match you as a person at all. Senko-san just as a concept does not match the things that I enjoy and the things that I like. That being said, I infinitely enjoy Senko as a show. And we'll get into some more shows because I set the list up again. And we'll get into some more shows that definitely qualify for that again. But I cannot sing the praises of Senko-san enough. I think everybody else... Ooh, Akko. I think Akko's needs to have a decision. Everybody else stays here. Some for obligatory reasons. This is team Harukana from Harukana Receive. And so it's the main Harukana team plus... oh, hell, what's their name? I think they're the Swedish girls, and they eventually all become a team. But they all stay in must protect category. Everybody's wholesome here. Akko is such a great character. Yeah, I think she stays in must protect. Badass / hurt me territory. Macrophage qualifies for both badass and hurt me. Toga is in hurt me. Anna's in hurt me. Faye qualifies for both. And Panty and Stocking qualify for both. I think they all stay here. And culture tier, let's see, we have the Kanagawa Jet Girls. Yep. Kyoko. Yep. The teachers from Why the Hell Are You Here, Teacher? Yep. Aiba? Yep. Oh, what's her name? She's from Keijo. Non from Keijo. Super, yep, that's culture. Senran Kagura. All the Senran Kagura girls. Culture. Very cultured. Same with Makin-ki. Probably more so than Senran Kagura. If I separated all the girls out from Makin-ki, Senran Kagura, and Kanagawa Jet Girls, this would be 5 hours long. Just on those 3 series. So I stacked them all together, and that's kind of what bred the culture tier. That being said, I think this is how our tier list is set up. So now we can finally move on to continuing. And I think I know why I stopped last time. Because of our next character. So let me get my list set up. This is our next character, Chiyuki, from Death Parade. Death Parade is the show... How do I say this? Death Parade is the show that when people ask, what's my favorite anime? I don't want to give them an answer that they've probably heard before, if they've heard of anime. So I'm not going to throw a Cowboy Bebop in there. I'm not going to throw Evangelion at them. I'm not going to say Gurren Lagann. Death Parade is what I throw at them. If I know that they've seen anime, then Death Parade is what I throw. Death Parade is such a good show. And it's a Madhouse original, which blew me away. That it is an original IP, that they just let this fly. And they did so well with it. And Death Parade hit me at a point in my life that really threw it up into the top tiers of, this is a show that I will remember for a long time, and I will always be willing to go back and watch it. It's so good. There's very few shows and movies, especially Death Parade, where, oh man, how do I explain it? Where you finish a TV show or a movie, and it has so much impact, where You just have to sit there and think. Like, the credits start to roll, and you just have to just take in what just happened. And Death Parade is definitely one of those shows. I had to just sit there and deal with it. Shane, it's good to see you. I'm glad you showed up. Yeah, I can't sing the praises of Death Parade any higher. And Chiyuki absolutely belongs in S tier for sure. Next is a hell of a series. May from Citrus. I don't know. We're just gonna. This is just a placeholder for right now. May from Citrus. Oh, Citrus is a crazy series that I watched on a whim. This was, I hate to say it, but I watched Citrus because of a meme. I saw the meme and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this series because I was just looking to watch anything and everything at that point, and I was kind of not. I wasn't at a point where it's like I don't want to watch the seasonal anime week to week, and I didn't want to go back and watch like a classic. So I was like, let's find somewhere in the middle. And Citrus was the series that I picked, and hoo boy, was that a series to pick. It is big time romance drama. It is nuts. And I'm not going to give anything away for anybody who hasn't seen it. May for this list, though. I think she's going to stay here in D tier. Her character arc is great, and where she ends up is great. I think she stays D tier. And next up is the other main character, Yuzu, from Citrus. She kind of goes way up and down through the whole series. And I think she's going to stick here in C tier. She has a lot of good qualities. But yeah, she goes way up and down as different characters are introduced and different characters do different things. She's all over the place. But I think overall she's like a positive. She's more of a positive rather than the kind of baseline D tier. I think she ends up in C tier. Next is Matsuri from also Citrus. I think she was one of my obligatory F tiers, and she goes through a little bit of a character arc, which is great. She gets redeemed. Kind of. I don't even really remember. I was not a fan of the whole Matsuri character, and I hated it. And this was kind of one of the characters that got introduced that like kind of threw everything up and down and put everything into a bobble. I don't even remember if she got redeemed in the end or not. She might have just been a bad character all the way through. So she's gonna sit F tier. Next up, okay, Cinnabar from Land of the Lustrous. This show is on, I believe, only Amazon right now. Land of the Lustrous as a show was definitely, as a marketing point, amazing. As an actual anime, like compared to your traditional anime shows, Land of the Lustrous kind of falls off. But if you understand everything behind Land of the Lustrous, it's fucking amazing. Land of the Lustrous, in the first season, it's 12 episodes. But I think they cover 4 whole story arcs in that 12 episodes. So you'll get kind of like the main dish of each arc in like 3 or 4 episodes. And then there will be a huge time skip like 6 months later, and then they'll hit the next arc. Which is a little jarring at first, but when you realize that anime is only made to sell manga, it makes a lot of sense. They're trying to show you, here's the main points of each arc, go buy the manga if you want to watch, if you want to see all the little extra bits, which is it's great work. The big thing that sold me on Land of the Lustrous, I hope me hitting my table isn't like beating the hell out of the audio. The amazing thing about Land of the Lustrous for me is it's 3D animation, and it's really, really good. Especially since all the main characters are supposed to have some type of shine to them, because all of the characters are gemstones, but they're humans. And the 3D animation is so good. It's gorgeous, and 3D animation is not prominent in anime yet because it's kind of been a little jankety and more background mechanics type thing, not like full everything's 3D. Beastars is a show that does full 3D. I haven't watched it yet. But I think it's the same team who did Beastars, did Land of the Lustrous. And by the end of Land of the Lustrous, I really liked the series. Cinnabar as a character. Oh, she's either C or B tier. Where's she going to go? I think knowing who's coming up next, I think Cinnabar goes C tier. And then we have our main rock girl, Foz. I think she goes up into the bro tier. She's B bro tier for sure. She's a great character, and she has a lot of good story development. It's awesome. Next, this is the show I was talking about. Definitely going in the must protect tier. Hitori Bochi. This was another show where if I separated everybody out, I felt like that was going to be... I felt like they were all going to end up in must protect anyway. Hitori Bochi is another one, is that show that I was talking about where if somebody presented it to me and just explained it to me, I'd be like, no. That's something that you would watch on Disney Channel. Like, well, what's the point? But for some reason, when presented as an anime series, and the way that they write this series in the anime, it's really good. I love this series because Shane, are you able to hear me? Has my audio been seriously down? Shane, are you able to hear me? No, my audio is working. So I don't know why you're asking, Shane. I don't know why you're asking if I'm there, because I acknowledge you when you showed up. What was I saying? Yeah, Hitori Bochi is such a good show. I loved it, and it's definitely not the style that I should like, but it's definitely a good show. If you like Cells at Work, Hitori Bochi is another good one to go into. Oh, what's another show like that? I'm trying to think of more of those kind of drama type shows. They're not full drama. They're like half Chunibyo. That's another one. I think I might have just spoiled one of the shows that I have it here. But yeah. Let's move on. Erina-sama from Food Wars. Okay, good, Shane. I'm glad you can hear me. Erina from Food Wars. Food Wars is a great show. Everybody gives it shit because there's a lot of fan service at the beginning, which all of that super dies off. So if you're worried about, scantily clad anime characters, then just get through like the first season or two, which sounds really stupid for me to say. But people who have a problem with fan service in anime that's something that I don't necessarily understand. It's really off-putting for some people. Like seeing scantily clad characters in anything really just puts them off, and I don't necessarily get it. Shane, this is my punishment for not getting through my last year's New Year's resolution. So I'm doing a damn tier list, which I don't want to do, but I'm doing the damn thing. So that I'll get into it this year. Hold on a sec. Gotta let the dog out. Okay. My New Year's resolution last year was to get through my entire watch list of anime. I had a huge backlog and I wanted to get through all of it, and I didn't. So I have the same resolution for this year. And if I don't get through it again this year, then I'm going to have to update this thing, which is way too much work for what it's worth. The dog is fine. She's on a hardwood floor, and she's old, and she's blind. So hardwood floor is difficult. And I know you don't speak the animes. That's why I'm here. I do speak the animes. Okay. Food Wars. I already gave my fan service spiel. Food Wars is every time you see any post on social media where somebody says that food in anime just makes food look better, like not real food, like food that is drawn looks better than real food, that's Food Wars. And it's like all the like Great British Bake Off and like MasterChef and all those like head-to-head cooking shows, it's Food Wars. Food Wars kicked off all those shows. Food Wars is the anime that made all those shows happen because Food Wars did it so well. Imagine if instead of, 2 football teams showing up to tens of thousands of fans, imagine if it was 2 like head gourmet chefs. That's how much hype and battle is going on in this show, and it's fantastic. I love it. That being said, I'm down like a whole season behind because the last season kind of pulled me off of it. To me, it started to do the damn Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon Ball Z thing where it's like not enough things happened or things happened way too quickly and they didn't show enough of it for me to care. But I think things have gotten a little better in the show from what I've heard. So, Shane, you're throwing so many things at me. You had to ask a friend that I was doing a tier list, which shows that you don't use internet. If you like shows with real food, Food Wars has food that looks better than real food. That's how good the food looks. And no, I don't like avocados because I'm a 7-year-old. I don't even put anything on burgers. If it has more than cheese and ketchup, I don't like it. Because I'm a damn 8-year-old. If you don't believe that it looks better than actual food, you're wrong. It's ridiculous how good the food looks. I gotta put Ariana somewhere. Where does she go? She's got a great character arc. Oh. Her character arc really puts her in a really good place. I think she qualifies for B tier, for sure. I'm a millennial. I have to like avocados. No. I'm too dumb. Alright. Next. This is Megumi from Food Wars again. She doesn't really have any negatives. but she's also not like super endearing as a character to me. I think that's an easy C tier. She's like Cinnabar. Like, it's, well, the characters are completely fucking opposite, but she has positives, but not enough to throw her clear up to B tier. Mito from Food Wars. Oh, she's definitely culture. She qualifies for the culture tier. Dark-skinned anime girls fucking just rip my heart out of me. Does that alone throw her into A tier? She has culture. She's a part of the culture. And she's a great character. Yep. I'm putting her in A tier. I'm doing it. I gotta stop thinking about her. I'm gonna start changing because I'm either gonna go B.5 or she's A tier. I like her better as a character than Arena, so I'm gonna put her in A tier. Next, I am still awful with names. Hibana from Fire Force. I love Fire Force. It's such a good show. All I've watched is season 1 so far. And I think season 2 is like 20-some episodes in, so I could definitely start it by now and probably get caught up by the time it all ends. I really liked Hibana as a character. Once you roll through her character arc, she's a really good character. Fire Force as a show, it's kind of unique. It's kind of in its own place. It's got a lot of the... It hits a lot of the notes of Psycho Pass, but it also hits a lot of the same notes as Attack on Titan. So it's really weird. It's in this kind of weird gray area where it's this whole new unique thing, and you really just have to watch it to understand it. And it's... I don't know. It's one of those series that I kind of took a shot on when it first came out because it was a seasonal anime. So I was like, yeah, I'll show up to this. And it turned out to really... It really skyrocketed up the charts as one of the best shows that I've watched. I'm curious as to how it ends. If it ends really well, it could end up on the top shelf of shows that kind of made me think about what the hell I'm doing. Just like, why am I here? Like, shows that hit you that hard. Hibana as a character, love it. Starting off, Hibana would be in the Hurt Me category. Her initial character, but her character arc... Ooh, I think Hibana goes into A tier. Should she be B tier, though? Would she end up a B.5? She's another dark-skinned anime character. But so is the girl from My Girlfriend is a Gal, and she only made it to B tier. She's in the bro tier. So is Hibiki. I think she goes into A tier. Yep. Then we have Best Girl, Maki from Fire Force. Does she make it clear to S tier? Maki Oze is such an awesome character from Fire Force. She's absolutely my favorite character from Fire Force. That's for sure. Does she go clear to S tier? I don't think so. Not yet. I think she's got some more character building to do. I need a backstory for Maki. I want to know. Shane, I said one of the shows is called My First Girlfriend is a Gal, which is a weird thing, but it's mostly a Japanese culture thing. So it's one of the, like you said, I'm speaking anime here, so it's kind of a foreign language. So yeah, I think I need more from Maki. I think she's gonna, if I give even a hint of a backstory, of an endearing backstory for Maki, and if I get even a touch of endearment from Maki, she's going straight to S tier. It's just pin hair away from S tier. Not a gallon. Well, there's gallons of things in that show, if that's what you're looking for. It's not the things you're thinking of. Next, Tamaki, also from Fire Force. This is another one of those things that really put a lot of people off, is the fan service bit of Fire Force, and it's kind of shoehorned in there, which I get. That's kind of like the first time where I'm like, okay, the fan service is really shoehorned in there, and it's not really tasteful. This was kind of the first experience where it's like, okay, the fan service is not great for this. But Tamaki's character design as like this like fire cat-like reflexes abilities that she has is super cool. Her as a character, she's more of like a little sister character. So she's kind of but she doesn't fit into the must protect category. Also, Maki would definitely fall under the badass / hurt me category. Because Maki is unbelievably ripped, and I'm all about it. Tamaki would fall under the badass character category, but I think she's gonna roll B tier. She's got to go up against Hibana and Maki, and she's just not on that level. But she is B tier. I don't think she's not plain enough. I don't want to call any of these characters in C tier plain necessarily. But yeah, I think she goes to B tier. I'm glad there's just a whole other conversation going on in chat. It's great. Next, all of the girls from Monster Musume. This was another show where if I separated all of the characters out from the show, we'd be here for another fucking hour and a half doing this shit. So I kept them all in the same category. But either they're going in the hurt me category, or they're going in the culture category. They are definitely a part of the culture. That's for fucking sure. I think there's some characters that, yep, they're going in the culture tier. Now that I think of some of the characters that are in there, they go in the culture tier. Dexter's mom and Doug Dimmadome. I don't think they qualify. Dexter's mom would probably go in the hurt me category. Doug Dimmadome. Doug Dimmadome would be F tier because I think people need to make that meme better. I've heard a lot of the Doug Dimmadome jokes and the memes, and we need a new evolution of Doug Dimmadome. All right, let's get back to it. Mume from Cabaneri. Cabaneri is an awesome show that a lot of people gave it shit for because it was supposed to be basically a bad Attack on Titan spinoff. I saw it not like that. Cabaneri I saw as more of an Attack on Titan, except the mortality rate isn't so high. It was kind of what you want. It's like, you know how Attack on Titan is like, they set up a character and you really like that character, and as soon as you like them, that's a bad idea. Cabaneri kind of sets it up the opposite way, where you have enough time with these characters to kind of enjoy the character arc and kind of enjoy the fights that they get into. Austin, I will not be doing Naruto characters because I haven't seen Naruto. So I couldn't put him in a tier list. I'm a fake anime fan. I've not seen the 9,572 episodes of Naruto and the 4,875 episodes of One Piece. So I'm a fake fan. Also, the 1,275 episodes of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and GT. So yeah, I'm a fake fan. 9,574 episodes. See, Austin, you're asking that question. Name every anime. There is a video out there on YouTube where somebody seriously does if you love anime so much, name every anime. They do it A to Z, and it's rough. Let me get through this one character, and then I'll get to some of the questions. Mume from Cabaneri. She's kind of the overall badass. She's the full badass of this. That the fact that I say that makes me want to put her in badass character category. Yeah, I think she goes to badass. She's some of the action stuff that she pulls off is ridiculous, and it's fantastic. So there's a lot of AMVs of Mume with the shotgun rolling off of the balcony, and it's fantastic. It's super cool. I think Cabaneri is one of those shows that kind of flies under the radar. So for anybody who likes like Attack on Titan or Fire Force or kind of those Society's in Trouble action shows, Cabaneri is a good one. Okay, let me get through. Tom and Jerry. That's funny. Tom and Jerry would probably fit. I would say Tom and Jerry are pretty much panty and stocking, but Tom and Jerry don't fit under the badass category. They would fit in Tom and Jerry category. Favorite anime of all time is such a hard question. That's like asking. That would be like asking me what's my favorite video game of all time. It would hurt me to pick somebody over another one. Favorite current anime. Define current anime, because I haven't watched a seasonal anime that like came out recently, like pretty much all of 2020. There was one show that I was really excited for, but I still haven't watched it because it's not over yet. I didn't want to watch it week to week. See, it's Shane asked me favorite best friend. You might as well ask me what my favorite anime or video game is, because you just can't get an answer out of that. Favorite current anime. Oh man. Technically, if it's current anime, I could throw out Evangelion, because that's one of my favorite shows. That means it's neither of us. That's not true, but I could throw out Evangelion because it came out in the mid-90s. That's one of my favorite shows. It's on Netflix, but I recommend that show to nobody. That show is something you have to discover for yourself. For anybody. Current, I would say Cowboy Bebop's a classic. Attack on Titan is also a classic. It's probably Matthew. Both classic shows, they're super easy to digest. Attack on Titan's getting a little long, but it's about to end. So I think it's still digestible, especially because it gets better as it goes on. Cowboy Bebop is one season, and it's a classic. And if somebody's into like the action shooter series, it's super good. Um, if you were to recommend an anime to someone who doesn't watch a bunch of anime, oh, that's always scary, because for me, I don't necessarily like to give out like full generic recommendations. I like to figure out what somebody likes and then recommend it, because asking somebody, like, I haven't watched a lot of anime, what should I watch? To me is like saying, hey, I just got this thing called Hulu. What's the one thing that I should watch on there? And for me, recommending an anime is scary, because I feel like if I recommend somebody an anime that they're not going to like, they're going to be like, well, anime sucks. No, you just didn't like the show that I chose. Because a lot of people see anime as kind of this little niche thing, but there's so many shows. Um, uh, Starter animes, I would say, just to kind of cover all the bases, Cowboy Bebop and Attack on Titan are action anime. Um, they have just enough drama in them to kind of keep everything going, and they're super popular. So I think those two are easy shoe-ins. For me personally, Cowboy Bebop and Attack on Titan are great shows. But I think there's three shows that I really put on top of everything, and it's Gurren Lagann, which is on Netflix right now. And it's a great show. Death Parade, which I don't think it's streaming anywhere except for anime websites like Funimation. I know it's on Funimation. I also have the Blu-ray. Death Parade is an amazing show, and I love it so much. That's one that I recommend to people who haven't watched a lot of anime and who have watched a lot of anime, because I feel like it kind of flew under the radar, but it's so good. Trying to think. There's also a movie that I watched recently, but it is very emotion heavy, and I would not recommend it. It's kind of one of those things like Evangelion, where I would not recommend it to anybody. It's a movie called The Silent Voice, and it's made by Kyoto Animation, which is known for making really good-looking things. But like Evangelion, A Silent Voice is very emotionally heavy, like super emotionally heavy, and it's anybody with I don't if you want to feel like you have a mental illness, those are the shows to watch. Evangelion for sure. It is a fucking ride. And Silent Voice will just make you break down for sure. It'll make anybody break down. Can I scroll up to my ANS tier? Yeah, let me get the next character up here, because she's definitely going to end up here. Revy, I gotta let the dog in. Okay. Revy Two Hands from Black Lagoon. I totally skipped over Black Lagoon. It's such a good show, and I think this Black Lagoon was technically an anime that wanted to ride the coattails on Cowboy Bebop and kind of update it. I think I forget who made Black Lagoon, but I think the anime studio specifically worked with Universal for Western audiences. So Black Lagoon was kind of made as like a hybrid anime / action animated series. Black Lagoon is another show that, if for some people who are into kind of the action series, Black Lagoon is an awesome show. Revy as a character, she absolutely qualifies for both the badass and hurt me tiers. That's for sure. She's not an S tier because she's a full-blown maniac. I think yeah, she's gonna go down to the badass / hurt me tier. She qualifies for both. Austin, I can't add the Avatar characters because Avatar is not an anime. That's my controversial take for the night. Also, because of age reasons, I feel like that would be scary. Badass / hurt me tier would definitely be where Ronda Rousey ends up. Yes, that's basically the good analogy for that whole tier. See, that's the great thing about Legend of Korra is that by season 2, everyone is of age, so it's not weird. I'm just here to make controversial Avatar opinions, just so that I can take all of these normal fucking opinions and make something controversial, because I've said nothing but good things. Is mayonnaise an anime? No, but there is a character on this tier list, and her name is, I'm pretty sure it's like Mayonaka. Where's it at? I wrote it down. Yep, her name's Mayonaka, right here. So it's pretty much mayonnaise. So mayonnaise is not an anime, but it is a character in one. Okay, next characters. I gotta get back to where I was. The Kakegurui characters. This is Midori. That's just F tier. That was one of my obligatory F tiers. I think I just used her as a character so that I could talk about Kakegurui for ever. This is Mary from Kakegurui, which is, I don't think it was an anime developed specifically for Netflix, but Netflix, I think, bought the rights so damn quick that it might as well have been. Excuse me. Kakegurui is a gambling anime that is off the walls bonkers. And that's the reason why I like it. Because it is so incredibly insane. And that's really all I need, is people losing their mind for weird gambling games that sometimes kind of turn into saw traps, but then they go off and they play a fucking hand of poker in like the next episode. It's great. That's the more off the walls bonkers that you can make a show like that, but kind of still keep it to like a somewhat believable storyline. I go nuts for those shows. It's kind of like Quentin Tarantino movies. I really like Quentin Tarantino movies because there's a believable storyline there, but then there's always something that just throws everything off the wall. Like, it's totally fucking bonkers, and I love that. That's basically Kakegurui for me, even though I won't spoil it. I have an opinion on the show, but it's kind of into spoiler territory, so I won't get into it. Mary as a character, though, she has a great character arc. I don't think she necessarily makes it to B tier. I think Mary's gonna roll that. Mary rolls in with Megumi in C tier, but that's because we have Yumiko up next in the B tier. Yumiko is kind of like the backup for 02 in crazy anime girls that everybody loves to either cosplay or simp over a lot. But if these were real people, like, they'd be full blown insane, crazy people. That being said, Yumiko is a great character. And I think her and 02 are definitely, that's two peas in a pod. So I think they go in B tier. Next. Who's up next? Here we go. Another one of those shows that I absolutely should not like, but I do. Chunibyo. It's called Love Delusions. Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions. And there's 2 seasons of it. And this is another one of those shows where just the basic concept of it, I should not enjoy it. It sounds like some Disney Channel trash. But for some reason, it's written in a lot of animes do this thing where it's written almost like Toy Story, where in Toy Story, there's a lot of things that are written and made for kids. It holds the attention of kids who need something new and flashy every 3 seconds. But there's also the adults that show up to Toy Story, and they're like, I'm not going to sit through some kiddie bullshit where they just make funny noises and faces at each other and talk about being toys for 2 hours. But a lot of anime takes it to another level where it's an animated show, but the demographic is definitely for an older generation. So it's like your characters could be like middle school or high school, but it's written for people who are in high school or college or even beyond that, for people to kind of have this nice little nostalgia trip and have an emotional little ride on the way there. Chunibyo is definitely a romance drama, which both of those things put together is enough to make me run very far away. But for some reason, you make it an anime, and I absolutely love it. There is a scene in Chunibyo from the first season that made me break down, and then I had to, once the episode ended, I had to stop and just recollect myself. The writing is so good, the animation is great. I'm just singing the praises of this show now. Dekomori is the first character from that show. And a lot of people hate her because she says des a lot, which is basically a play on the Japanese language. And it's funny, and I always liked it. Everybody lost their mind from the online community that I could find of this show. They lost their shit over her just saying des over and over. I liked it. I thought it was hilarious. She's also just in... what's the word? I'm losing it. I've been talking too long. I'm losing my mind. She's totally brick wall to lean on. That's for sure. She supports the main character through and through, which is fantastic. She's going in B tier she's going in the bro character for sure. Next character from Chunibyo. I'm awful at names. Kumin. Kumin is kind of the glue that holds everybody together without actually holding everybody together. In the show, they have to make a club, like a little school club, but the club activities are kind of a little too out there to be club activities. So she shows up. She's, I believe this is a high school. Technically, yeah, it's a high school. So most of the main characters that show up are freshmen. Well, she's an upperclassman. So she shows up and she's like, hey, these underclassmen need extra members. So me being an upperclassman, putting my name on the activities list is going to give them a little bit of credit. Plus, I could just show up and just sleep the whole time. So she just shows up to sleep, and it's great. She's the character that just shows up to sleep all the time. But whenever any of the characters are having a problem, she ends up coming through with like some great advice because she sleep talks. And I absolutely love that as a plot device. She's also what is the culture tier describing? If you're not part of the culture, then the culture tier is not for you. If you want to know what the culture tier is, the current shows that are in the culture tier are Kandagawa Jet Girls, Why the Hell Are You Hair Teacher, Senran Kagura, Makin Ki, and Monster Musume. So if you watch any of those shows, you'll become part of the culture. You'll get it. I don't recommend any of those shows because they're a part of one culture. Anyway, what's her name? Kumin? Yes. I think she's B tier. I think she's a bro, for sure. I'd put her on par with Dekamori. Then we have Rika, our main character from Chunibyo. Right now, I'm saying she's at least an A tier, for sure. Her character is adorable, and it's great. And the little journey that she goes on is absolutely... It rips you in half. And emotionally, not like the other kind. I think Rika is going to go to the Must Protect. For sure. She falls on par with Hattori Bochi. I absolutely love her character. All the ups and downs that they go through is great. How do you spell those shows? Here. Hold on. My keyboard is broken. I will write them out. So the first show, I feel like I'm giving source material. I'll write these out. This is like old school. This is like an old school like tech tutorial where it's just a notepad and like some shitty music played at like 144p. Why the heel? Yep, that's how you spell that. No, it's not. Am I spelling Kandakawa right? What kind of... Kandagawa. Damn it. What kind of guide am I if I can't fucking spell anything right? All right. What else? Yeah, I'm glad I'm giving out this sauce. Lock-in key and poster. So there. These are the shows that have currently qualified for the culture tier. This is culture. If you don't know the other characters that are in that tier, don't worry about it. So, hopefully you got those down, Shane. Next character. I think we have 2 more from Chunibyo. 3 more. We have our main antagonist from Chunibyo, which is describing somebody as an antagonist for the Chunibyo series is not like Matsuri in the Citrus series is absolutely an antagonist, and Yui from the My Girlfriend series is absolutely an antagonist, but I think her name's Satine, which sounds wrong. Monster Musume hentai or something. I mean, it's ecchi. I wouldn't put it in hentai, but it's creeping. I'll scroll up to S tier for right now. Not a lot going on, but S tier is sacred ground for right now. Satine from the Chunibyo series. Where's she go? I'm gonna put her in D tier. She's kind of supposed to be an antagonist, but she's not. But she kind of just ends up being like she ends up kind of feeling like a plot device, where she kind of just gets the story going, which it's super important that she does, because she shows up in season 2, but I think that kind of is that's kind of what pushes her down to D tier, is because she shows up in season 2, which is definitely, I think season 2 was more of a manga seller than this first season was. I think the first season had a little bit of uniqueness to it, but season 2 wraps up a lot of things that people wanted from the first season, so I can't complain. I like the series as a whole, for sure. Next up, Shinka from still Chunibyo. I didn't remember that I separated pretty much every character out from this series. I figured I was going to say way more about this series. She's also kind of an antagonist, but she's more of a mean girl type deal. But she's not. How do I describe this? I feel like I just need to get on with this. Just get out of the Chunibyo. Where's she going? C tier. Because Dekomori, I like her character better. And it's funny when they fight. Because I'm dumb. Here we go. The real character, the real best girl from Chunibyo is Rika's older sister, Toka. My goodness. She's a great character, first of all, and second of all, absolutely best girl. I think she's A tier. She doesn't have enough screen time to roll into S tier, which sucks. I think if we get her backstory, because she seems so stroke. She has the same backstory pretty much as Rika, and I love the deadpan part of her character. I think that, I don't know. I'm just, at this point, I'm just trying to internalize why she's not in S tier. I think it just comes down to she didn't get enough writing. She's just not a fleshed out enough character for S tier, but A tier for sure. Next, Saki from Zombieland Saga. I'm just putting the characters up here as placeholders. It's just kind of coincidence that they end up staying in the same place. Saki from Zombieland Saga. I love Zombieland Saga. The 3D animation parts of that were real off-putting. I think that's the only thing that knocked that series, was the 3D animation stuff. Yeah, it wasn't great for me. I didn't really like it. Other than that, absolutely love the series. Smug-faced Saki is a meme, so that's cool. That's a plus. And it honestly really just describes her character. Saki, she's going to A tier. I think she's an A tier character. Also, the one colored streak in the hair is like enough. That's like +1. Like it'll make me weak in the knees, at least for a little bit, until we get, a little farther into the character. But that one little colored hairpiece will knock me down. Next, also Zombieland Saga, Lily. I'm not going to spoil anything for Lily as a character. Immediately, she's a must protect, for sure. The ending of Zombieland Saga was great. There's so much I want to say about Lily and her character and Zombieland Saga as a whole, but I'm not going to spoil the series. But I absolutely love Lily's character and her backstory, and it's awesome. I love it. It's absolutely worth the watch. And then we have our main girl from Zombieland Saga, and I love this show, but I'm so fucking awful with names. Sakura from Zombieland Saga. Ooh, do I put her on the same tier as Saki? Because she is our main character, and she drives a lot of the plot. And she's our main character, so she has a lot of character development. But do I put her on par with Saki? Because I liked Saki better as a character. That's tough. If I had a B.5, she would fit solidly somewhere in there. Does she go to A tier? I think she does, because I think I like her character more than... I'm getting back into this comparison game. I like her character more than a lot of the characters in B tier. And I'd put her on par with some of the characters up in A tier, so we'll stick it there. B.5. That's what... You showed up a little bit late, but there's so many characters that I was throwing in here, and it's just like, if I had C.5, it'd be great. But we're going off of this, so. And now we move on to the Attack on Titan. I picked out very few from Attack on Titan, because if we did all the Attack on Titan characters, this would be 9 hours. Well, if you've seen Attack on Titan, maybe not so long. Sasha, Potato Girl. Her character arc is actually kind of follows how good the series gets. The series gets better as it goes on, so does each character arc, and Sasha's is no exception. Sasha, as soon as she became Potato Girl, just hit me. A tier. That's all I got to say. She loves food. A tier, for sure. She doesn't have enough to push her into S tier, but she's an A tier. Then we have Mikasa, also Attack on Titan. She kind of has the same thing as 02, where if your name isn't Hiro, 02 is a nightmare. If your name isn't Eren, Mikasa is your nightmare. But I'm putting her in badass / hurt me tier. She qualifies for both badass and hurt me, so that's where she's going. Next, Lukoa from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I've seen both sides of the coin on that show. Personally, I absolutely love Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. It might be partially in fact to the fact where that was my first kind of slice of life show that I kind of dabbled into. There was a lot of shows that I think would fall into slice of life, but this was the first. Well, I don't know if it was really the first slice of life that I watched. Anyway, made by Kyoto Animation, so it's gorgeous, as always. And there's a lot of... Miss Kobayashi is another one of those... it qualifies for the category of those shows that I absolutely shouldn't like it. But for some reason, the medium that it's in and the writing and the fact that things are just not your normal plotline, things that you can only do in anime, push it to that place where it's like, I really like this show. That being said, Lukoa, aka Quetzalcoatl, is going to go in the culture tier. The show is not as itself does not fit in the culture tier, but if you've been on the internet, Lukoa is a culture. She's part of the culture. So now let's move up to Toru, our main girl from Miss Kobayashi. Toru. I think Toru and Chika are pretty close. Chika's better, in my opinion, because Chika makes Chika noises and the Chika dance. Toru's easy B tier. She doesn't have enough to push her into A tier, and she's definitely not a C tier. So she's going there. Let's see. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty. We saved the best for last. I've kind of been ramping up to these characters. So this if there was going to be internet fights, here's where it happened. The first few characters, we're kind of ramping up to the end. That's where most of the fighting is going to go down, if there is any, when I post this. First, we're going to start out with Nia from Gurren Lagann. These final characters are from probably 3 of my top anime for sure. These are all of these shows that are coming up have 10 out of 10 on my anime list. Nia from Gurren Lagann. Her character is great, and I love how she's debuted. Gurren Lagann as a show was one of those shows that I talked about earlier, where when it ends, I just had to sit there in silence and just take it all in, and just know that what I had just watched was something that it was upsetting that I wasn't going to get to watch it for the first time ever again. It was that good. That one of those shows where you're like, if I could watch this for the first time again, I would give a lot of things. That being said, Nia as a character, where's she going? I think she's A tier. I think Nia's going to go for the A. I think our A tier is going to end up 3 rows. Honestly, I don't think there's anybody that I could pull out of A tier. The Keijo girls might get pulled, but I sat there. I've already gone over them twice. I have no reason to pull them down out of A tier. Let's see. Then we have everybody's favorite anime wifey. Yoko. Pictured is not the Yoko that I'm going for. I'm going for Yoko Teacher. Teacher Yoko absolutely falls under Badass and Hurt Me. For sure. Well, more of Badass character. Yeah. Yoko qualifies for the Badass side. Maybe not the Hurt Me tier. Yoko. She's if I had an A&a, once again, I don't, with some of the characters that are in A tier, I think Yoko's S tier. Yeah, Yoko's S tier. What's really wanting me to pull down to A tier is the fact that she's kind of a supporting character, but she's a major supporting character. And I kind of wish that she got more. But she interacts with so many other characters and is very important to so many other characters. Yep. I just, in my head, yep. In my head, I just, like, God, so many words just keep escaping my brain. I want to say certain words, and I just can't think of the fucking word for it. Rationalized. I just rationalized it in my head why Yoko is S tier, and she stays there. Here we go. The Kill la Kill girls. Satsuki Kyoryuin, main girl, main quote-unquote antagonist for the series. She falls under both badass and hurt me tier. But dude, I don't think Satsuki qualifies for just the badass hurt me tier. I don't think she gets that cop out. She's getting a letter today. Oh man. We got some heavy hitters coming. That's why she goes in S tier as well. She throws some quotes into the Kill la Kill series that when regardless of her being the main antagonist in Kill la Kill, regardless of what position her character stands in, she throws some straight up one-liners that make you want to run through a brick wall. There's one part, I think it's like episode 2 or 3, where she sees Ryuko roll up with her uniform, and she's like, okay, cool, I'm going to go get mine. And so she breaks into her parents' mansion, and she gets it out, and she throws out this quote that I never forget. She goes, "Ask not the sparrow how the eagle soars," and they put it in like big bold letters, like around her while she's stealing shit. Well, not while she's stealing shit, while she's putting on this like super powered uniform. And I just like makes you want to like do a line of coke and run through all the walls in your house, which is how how Kill la Kill as a series makes you want to do that so many times, and it's great. I absolutely did not sell Kill la Kill as a series as I should. Kill la Kill as a series is so awesome because it's got comedy hits, it's got slice of life in it. There's nice little down to home emotional moments. And the main point that kind of glues it all together is these insane studio trigger full fight scenes that are absolutely ridiculous, and I love every single second of it. Kill la Kill is another one of those series where I could go back and just watch it, just anytime. Unfortunately, Kill la Kill was not one of those shows where I had to just sit there and take it all in, because Kill la Kill kind of pushes more towards the action series side. So it's just like you get over with the series and it's like, all right, I want to start this over and watch all the fight scenes again because it's awesome. So now we have Ryuko, our main girl from Kill la Kill. And if Satsuki's going to pull down an S tier, Ryuko is definitely going to pull down an S tier, guaranteed. Like I said, you put the little colored highlight in the hair right here, knees weak immediately. Ryuko also is obviously under the badass / hurt me tier, but Ryuko's definitely S tier. All right, I'm gonna throw the next two out together. Well, yeah, the next two are coming out together. Here's the classic fight, the classic debate. Who is best girl? This has been going on for 15 years now. Rei and Asuka from Evangelion. And thankfully, due to tier lists, sometimes they get to share the same place. Will they share the same place this time? I don't know. I think when I post this full thing and anybody gets a hold of it, I think Rei and Asuka are the easiest parts to argue. This has been the debate in the anime community for so long, and it's not a heated debate to this day. It's kind of one of those things where it's like people, when it's brought up or somebody finds out that you watch anime, there's one other, if somebody else has watched anime, there's a couple questions that you roll through. Like, what's your favorite anime? What are you watching right now? but you know you're getting down to the nitty gritty because you've gone like 2 stages past sub or dub, and then they go Ray or Asuka. That's when you know you're down to the nitty gritty, and if you don't answer correctly, fights could ensue. So I'm going to start with Ray. Oh, Ray is not B tier. That's for sure. But I don't see anything that's going to push Ray into S tier. I don't think Ray... Yeah, I don't see Ray going up to S tier. That's for sure. Asuka, on the other hand, is not a B tier. I think she also goes into A tier. I don't see anything putting Ray or Asuka into S tier. At least for me. It also doesn't help that most people in the anime community watched Evangelion early on in their anime careers. I didn't get a hold of Evangelion until I was, 23, 24, maybe even 25. So the whole crush on Ray or Asuka didn't happen. They were just characters for me. But I tell you what did stick. You may grow up being a Ray or an Asuka type of guy, but growing up is truly knowing when you become a Misato man. Misato is guaranteed S tier. Misato Katsuragi. She also falls under the badass / hurt me tier, which is like the whole last half of our S tier. Misato is best girl in Evangelion. So anytime somebody goes Ray or Asuka, I say Misato, and then it's like, all right, well, we don't have to fight, but we can still be friends. And I think that's it. I finally got through it. Yeah. So that is my punishment for this last year. I doubt I'm going to get through my watch list for this year. So, I think I got to throw a little extra onto this because this kind of sucked getting it set up and making it work. But I think setting up my next punishment for this year, if I don't get through my watch list, I'm going to update this list. Probably do a whole new one because putting all this together plus adding new shit into it with the garbage tier list like software that is available would be a nightmare. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this list, do a whole new list on stuff that I watch this year. That's if I don't get through my watch list. This is punishment for if I don't get through my watch list. New tier list with the things I watched this year in 2021. And then on top of that, I will change my social media avatars to an anime character, which everyone knows on the internet. Anybody with an anime character avatar is immediately anything that they say is null and void. Which, it's a meme. I get it. But if I show up on Twitter with a fucking anime avatar, everybody's going to be like, get out of here with your fucking anime avatar. So I think that truly makes it a punishment. And I'm also trying to take on the daunting task of being an anime fan getting through a watch list, which is not supposed to be possible. I think Some things that are showing up for my watch list. I think some of the oldest shows that have been on my watch list the longest. Tokyo Ghoul has been on there for way too long, for as many times as people have said it's a good show. So Tokyo Ghoul is certainly one of the first things I need to watch. I've only watched the first 3 parts of JoJo's, which, according to the JoJo's fans that I'm willing to listen to, that's pretty much a crime punishable by law to only watch the first 3 parts. So I need to finish off JoJo's. I also want to, once I run through some of those shows like JoJo's and Tokyo Ghoul, after I run through a good handful of like modern anime, I usually want to throw in some older ones, some things that just kind of need to be, some of those shows where it's like, did you see this? Well, are you really an anime fan? But shows that I actually want to watch, Sailor Moon and Legends of the Galactic Heroes are both a little bit of a daunting task because they're not short, especially the original Sailor Moon. But there are alternates. Why the hell did I say that word like that? That was weird. There's alternates for Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon has so many fucking spin-off series that are retellings of the original series with extra shit and like less shit, and all of the voice acting and the animation is updated, so it's not as hard to get through as like a early 90s animation show. Anime. Why did I say it? Animation show. Animated show is what I was going for. But it's just an anime. But for posterity's sake, I would like to get through the original Sailor Moon. Because I got through all the original of Speed Racer. And that was even way older. And much more difficult to get through. That was a tough watch. Even though it's occasionally hilarious with how janky it is. But that was tough. So Sailor Moon and I believe it's called Legend of the Galactic Heroes, is one of those shows where it's like, if there was a license for anime fans, there would be a place on the license for a sticker that said, you watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes. So I want to get that proverbial sticker on the proverbial license. I haven't spoiled a lot, but I've heard good things from sources that I trust. So, and then for seasonal anime, I have to hit a lot of extra season 2s, Kaguya-sama, Fire Force, things that are still going on. New anime that I want to watch as a seasonal anime. There's a seasonal anime that's a rock climbing anime, and back muscles in anime are definitely the church that I go to. So definitely going to jump on the hill climbing anime as quickly as I can as soon as it's done. And of course, the final season of Attack on Titan. I've been doing so good avoiding spoilers. But, it's been so long since I've jumped into the anime game. It's ridiculous. So I just got to get back into it. So those are the things I plan on jumping into. But for now, thank you for showing up to this. If you watch the whole thing, I don't know if this is going up on YouTube, but or if it even sticks around on my Twitch channel. The first half of this didn't. Watch the whole thing. You're just as insane as I am. So message me. Just showed up for a little bit. I appreciate it. For the people who showed up in chat, it's awesome. I appreciate it. I always like having a little bit of chat interaction. It's always pretty cool. So thank you to everybody who watched, who showed up in chat. And I'll see you next time.